Hi, I'm Amber.
And I'm Megan.
I am super excited to have a podcast.
I am over the moon excited to have a podcast. So welcome to the Pacific Northwest Home Girls Podcast. We're two girls from the Pacific Northwest in very different places in life who found an unexpected friendship and partner in this crazy thing we call real estate.
We believe the key to buying your first home is education, with lots of laughter and fun along the way. So listen in and join us on your home buying journey.
So what's new with you, Amber?
What's new with me? Not much. We had high temperatures here in Thurston County, Washington.
Yes, it was hot.
So, for those of you not local to Pacific Northwest, we don't get hot temperatures. No one here, well, not no one. Most homes don't come with air conditioning, and we hit 100 yesterday.
Did we really hit 100?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I walked out of my house, because we have AC, so it was nice and cool in there. I walked out of my house and it was like, boom, hot.
Yeah,
It just
was
hits you.
humid too. It was sticky. It was 86 in our house.
Wow.
Which is not cool.
Mm-hmm.
86 outside is fine. Inside, not cool.
Yeah.
What's new with you, Megan?
I just got back from camping in Eastern Washington. We went to Banks Lake for 5 days, and it was a blast.
Fun.
We went wake surfing, jet skiing. The beach there is super sandy and fun. The water is super warm. I went on a hike up Steamboat Rock, I think it was, and I was told that it was a 45-minute walk. It was not. There was climbing involved. It was not a walk. But the views were amazing. It was so much fun. It was so pretty. So worth it. So dry over there that my boogers got really hard. Felt like they were poking my nose holes out.
Yeah, you have to, living on that side of the state, you have air conditioning, so the house is cool, but then you have to put, a humidifier in the house, so you're not so dry all the time.
Yeah, my skin just completely dried out because there was no moisture in there over there. It was weird. I'm not used to that. But it was fun. Banks Lake is definitely a fun place to go to if you're on that side of the state or if you want a fun trip. Definitely recommend. All right, so today we are going to talk about how to find a good agent. There are a lot of agents out there. Not all of them are good. Some of them are good. There's a lot of agents out there. Not every one of them is good because people are self-employed as real estate agents. So you can find really good agents. You can find really crappy agents. It just depends. So we're going to talk about how to weed out the good and the bad.
Having the right agent, as we've said before, makes this whole process of buying a home so much easier. If your attitudes mesh, if they have the information you need, they can work on your timeline. There's so many parts to this. Your real estate agent is going to be like your new best friend for the next 6 weeks, and you won't talk to him again for a while.
Well, you should talk to them.
We will, but not daily. But during buying a house, they're going to be the person that you are on the phone with 5 times a day.
Yeah, 5 times a day, oh my gosh. But sometimes it can be. So you're going to be working with this person pretty closely throughout your home buying or selling process. So you want to find someone that you click with and have a good relationship with and can work well with. So what makes a good agent?
I think the first thing that makes a good agent is their attitude. Are you comfortable with them? Are they positive? Do you get that good vibe from them? They need to be knowledgeable about the market that you're in.
Exactly. I mean, you can have someone who's super happy and fun and you like to be around, but if they don't know the market, if they don't know what they're talking about, if they don't know the numbers, if they don't know the contract, that's a red flag.
They need to care about you. You need to feel like this person is invested in you. You are putting one of your biggest financial decisions not in their hands, but they're the ones assisting you with this. So you need to be able to feel like they care about you, not just trying to push you into a house to get paid.
Yeah. In real estate, we call this commission breath, which is a gross term. I just think it sounds gross, but
Well, I think it's supposed to sound
right?
Because you don't want to have commission breath.
Exactly. So commission breath is all the agent cares about is selling your house or helping you buy a house and getting that commission. They're trying to push you into a house or out of a house, whether you're selling or buying, and you can tell, you can smell the commission breath.
Yeah.
But so you want to find an agent that's out for your best interests, helping you find a house that you like or helping you sell your house when you're ready, not trying to push you or force you into anything, because that's not good.
If you are more cautious by nature, you need somebody that's going to understand that and be able to walk through the process with you. If you are ready to jump in and make an offer on the first house that you see, they need to be able to back that decision too. So it's important to feel like they care about you, not just you're another number and another paycheck.
Great. And you also want to feel like you can trust them. You want someone that you can trust, because there's a lot of money being dealt with, whether you're buying a house or selling a house. There's a lot of money changing hands, and it can affect you pretty highly financially. So you want to feel like you can trust your agent and they have your best interests in mind.
When you're looking for an agent, there are some questions that we have that you can ask potential agents. We often have clients that are interviewing multiple agents for selling a home or just for buying a home. It took us so long to buy our first house. It took us over 5 years to be able to buy our first house, and not just we were actively trying that whole time to buy houses. And we had agents that we did not trust.
And if you're working with an agent that you don't like, or you start working with them and realize it's not a good fit, it's okay to fire your agent.
Absolutely.
It's okay to do that. You can say, hey, I don't want to work with you anymore, and that's fine. You can cancel. If you're in a contract, you can cancel that contract. If you're working with a buyer's agent and you have a buyer's agreement, you can get out of that agreement. If you're a seller, at least in Washington, you can cancel your listing as long as it's not under contract.
If I could go back, I would interview agents instead of just going with somebody that I went to church with or I saw their poster or something like that. So the questions that we suggest you ask is
when you're interviewing an agent
is, how do you help your buyers? What makes you stand out from other agents in the marketplace?
Also, what makes you different? What are you going to do for me that other agents are not going to do?
So do you have a team that you work with, and who would my point of contact be? So not all agents are individual agents. Some of them work with small or large teams, and so this person may be your agent, but once you're under contract, you may be mostly dealing with their transaction coordinator, which is kind of like a secretary. So you need to know that up front. Am I going to be talking to you? Am I going to be talking to 6 different people on your team?
Right. It's important to be clear on who that point of contact is, especially sometimes teams, they have buyer's agents specifically and seller's agents specifically. So if you're in a buy-sell process, you might be working with 2 different people on that transaction. You might even be working with a third, as if they bring a transaction coordinator in there too. So it's important to know who you're talking to, or that way you're not confused on where the information is going.
Yeah, who you need to be talking to at what process of buying and selling. Can you explain the home buying process to me start to finish?
That is something that an agent should do just no matter what. But if they don't, then you need to ask them to explain the home buying process to you, start to finish, so that you know exactly what to expect every step of the way, and there aren't going to be too many unexpected, crazy surprises. And they should be able to fully explain that to you and know it like the back of their hand.
Exactly. This is what we do every day. You should know how to do this.
Right.
You can ask, how long have you been an agent? I don't know that this always defines how good an agent is, because you can be really good at it at the beginning, or maybe you grow into it. But if you weren't somebody that has a lot of experience, asking that question can help you find out.
And like Amber said, you can have a new agent that can still be really good. I can't speak for other firms, but at least for Keller Williams, where we're at, new agents get a ton of training, and even if you've been in the business for a month, these agents have a lot of people that they can turn to and people that are helping them and reviewing all of their contracts before they even send it out to you. So you know you're working with a new agent, but you're working pretty much with the whole office behind that agent helping them.
Yeah. And one of the perks for a new agent, a lot of times they don't have a lot of clients. So you are like everything that they have going on right now.
Right. All of their time is devoted to you, so you're getting the best service possible.
How many homes do you close a year is another question you can ask, and that goes along with how long you've been an agent.
Mm-hmm.
The longer you've been an agent, the higher those transactions are going to be because you have more experience.
Right. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe the national average for realtors is around 8 homes a year.
Which seems not that high.
It really doesn't seem that high, but
yeah. The last question that we suggest you ask when you're interviewing your agents is, how are you going to help me buy or sell in a competitive market? Which almost everywhere in the U.S. right now is in a competitive market.
This is a great question for this time period specifically, because whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's important to know what your agent is going to do to stay competitive. As a buyer, you need to have your agent needs to be able to help you write competitive offers, because writing a full price offer is probably not going to win, unfortunately. You need to do more than just ask for a full price. And then in a competitive market for a seller, you're going to get multiple offers. So how is your agent going to handle that? How are you going to look over those offers and decide which one is the best for you? You need your agent to be able to help you make that decision.
You definitely want an agent that knows the market, and that's where we come back to the knowledge base, is do they know what's happening in their market right now? If they have no idea that it's a competitive market and they're like, oh yeah, we can just go out and see anything and make an offer, and then it turns out making an offer isn't the only thing you have to do. You need to be competitive. During a transaction, a good agent should be able to keep a lot of the hiccups from hitting the buyer's or the seller's desk. Meaning that they have worked with their counterpart on the other side of the transaction, the escrow team, the lenders, to come up with solutions. So when they're calling you, they already have your solution ready to go. Here's your 2 choices, or here's the best choice, or hey, by the way, this happened, but we've already got it worked out. There are going to be some hiccups that they need to come to you with that you need to make a decision on, but like I said, they should have a solution for you.
Right. So an okay agent or a not very great agent is going to run into a problem in a transaction, because there are always going to be problems in a transaction. That's just how it happens. But they're going to run into a problem and then immediately call you and say, hey, this is the problem, bah! And then you're going to freak out as the buyer. The seller like, oh, I don't know what to do. But a great agent or a good agent is going to see the problem, figure it out, come up to you, or have solutions ready for you when they make that call to say, hey, this is the problem that happened, here's what we can do, how do you want to move forward? Or they're going to foresee that problem before it ever happens and put steps in place to make sure that it doesn't happen in the first place. But not all problems you can fix beforehand.
No, there's definitely hiccups in a transaction that no one can foresee. Sometimes it's something like COVID happens, and when this first happened back in March, April, that was holding up people's loans, because then they didn't have 2 weeks of pay stubs to show their lender. So that was a hiccup that nobody could have foreseen. And other times it's just waiting for documents to go from one place or to the other, and it's taking longer than anticipated. Those are hiccups that we can foresee, that we know happen, but there's just, every transaction is different, and I have only ever had one that was like textbook, make an offer, easy breezy, agent on the other side was nice. That's it, one that happened like that.
I've had a few textbook, easy breezy transactions, but most transactions, there's always at least one thing that you don't expect, or that's a little twist or something that comes up, and that's completely normal. You just have to have an agent that remains calm in weird or difficult situations and has a level head and is able to work through those puzzles and solve them.
So as much as you should be asking your agent these questions and interviewing agents, we also suggest that you prepare a little bit on your end with information to give your agent. So you should be ready with how to communicate best with your agent, although, like we said, a good agent should be asking that up front. And I feel like an agent should be choosing to work with your best way to communicate. If you communicate through text, they should be texting you, even if they prefer emails. They should communicate with the client's best interest and the client's preferred communication.
So it's important to, if they don't ask you, it's important to tell them, I like phone calls, or I like text, or just email me, because that's all I look at.
Yeah.
So that they know the best way to reach you.
You should be ready with who your lender is. And as we've talked about in previous episodes, if this is you're just beginning the process, those good agents will have a referral for you. But if you already have your lender in place, you should have their phone number, their name, their email, the brokerage they're working with, all ready to go to give your agent so they can get into contact with them and start that process for you.
And if you have that lender already, then also be prepared with what your loan amount is. If you have a pre-approval from that lender, have that pre-approval ready, and the budget that you want to stay in. Maybe you're approved for $400,000, but you don't want to spend more than $350,000. You should let your agent know that.
What does your schedule look like for house hunting? Maybe you are available for lunch hour, middle of the day. Maybe you're only available during the weekends. But you need to let your agent know that up front so they know how quick they can get you into houses. And as we said like 6 times already in this episode, a good agent will have asked you this, but be prepared with these answers.
And that goes the other way too. Your agent should tell you what their schedule is like. Are they doing paperwork in the morning and not available in the mornings, or are they available in the mornings for showings? Do they do evening showings? Do they work on the weekends? Do they not work on Sundays for religious reasons? Do they work all through the week? Your agent should let you know what their schedule is like, and you let them know what your schedule is like, so you can find times that work great to for both of you to work together.
So as soon as I've met a client and we have a signed contract, you get a welcome email from me with all of that information in it. It says I don't answer the phone after 9 o'clock at night, but
because we also have lives and need to sleep some hours of the day.
And real estate kind of closes at 9 o'clock. Like that's the latest you put an offer in or decisions are made. So I work until the latest time. But I'm not going to answer the phone at 10:30 for your questions or emergencies.
If your house is burning down and it's an emergency, you should not be calling your agent. You should be calling the fire department.
Exactly.
At 10:30 at night.
Yeah. But I will be back to you by 6 a.m. That's what my email says. So I get up early. I have become a morning person, so I will answer the phone for you late at night, but I will have an answer for you first thing in the morning. And I also say I don't work Sundays. That's my Sabbath. And I'm really upfront about it, and I've never had a client that's had a problem with it. And I am a lucky agent because I've got Megan and other agents in my office to back me up on Sundays when I need it. And then the fun part you get to talk to your agent about is what you're looking for in a house. And if you are unsure, a good agent can ask you questions like, you want a big backyard? Well, what does a big backyard mean to you? Is it
because everyone's idea of big is different. Some people's idea of big is 200,000 acres for a farm. Some people's idea of big is maybe a quarter of an acre.
Or I just want to be able to have 2 lawn chairs and a barbecue in the backyard. They can help you define what it is you're looking for. 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, whatever it is that you want. But they can help you narrow in, and that helps them be able to define your search better when they're looking for homes and emailing you those homes.
And then you also want to let your agent know what your timeline is. When are you going to be ready to pull the trigger and put an offer in? Are you waiting until your lease is up on your rental? Are you in a month to month? Do you have a job transfer that you need to be in a house right now? Or are you waiting for something that, you're just kind of looking at what's out there right now, but you're not going to be ready for another year? You need to let your agent know what your timeline is and how serious you are about buying a house. So we talked about questions to ask your agent and
questions you should have answers ready for, that you should have anticipated answers for.
But where do you find this agent? Where do you go? Do you just walk down the street and say, hey, are you an agent? Yes. All right. Well, let's work together.
That would be handy. So I suggest talking to friends and family. Do you know someone who's an agent already?
That's always a really good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
It is people that you know that know an agent, because they can give you personal recommendations. If they've personally worked with an agent before they've had a good experience with, then that's probably the best person to choose.
Or if they could even tell you, don't work with this person
Right.
because that transaction was
Because
awful.
it did not go well.
But so asking for a referral from friends and family is a great way,
Mm-hmm.
just like you would ask who do you go to have your hair done or your mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
People know real estate agents.
Right. You can crowdsource. You can go on Facebook and say, hey, I'm looking for an agent. Does anybody know of one who's had a good experience with an agent? Let me know who they are. And then you can probably, a bunch of people will comment, and you'll get a lot of great agents to start the interview process with.
Yeah. Well, let's say your friends and family don't know anybody. You can do Google. You can walk into a brokerage in your town and say, I'd like to interview 3 agents.
So you can, if you have no friends that know of an agent, you don't know of an agent personally, you can Google a bunch of businesses, a bunch of real estate offices, and find one that your values align with. Like, for example, Keller Williams is God, family, then business. And that's one of the reasons that I chose to work with Keller Williams, is because of that and their values and what they stand for. And so you can find an agency that you like and then just walk into their front door and say, hey, I'm looking for an agent. Can you set me up with one? And they'll be more than happy to.
You will have rhymes with agents.
Yeah. Or if you have a lender, you can ask your lender for recommendations, because they work with agents every single day. So they know who's a good agent, who's going to do a good job for you, and they'll be able to set you up with a couple agents that you can interview. If you're in the Puget Sound area, obviously we'd be more than happy to help you. If not,
Absolutely.
another way to find a great agent is to reach out to us, because with our brokerage, we have offices all across the nation and even across the globe. So we have a network of agents that we can connect you with a couple great agents in whatever city or state you may be in, no matter where you are.
Yeah. And I've done this several times, helping friends in other places find agents, and every one of them have had a good experience.
Yeah.
So we've given you guys lots of information, lots of questions to be ready to ask the agents that you're interviewing, and some questions that you should come prepared with answers for, because good agents will be asking you these, and that way you're not caught off guard like, oh, when do I want to go look at houses? When am I free? Kind of have that schedule in mind and all those things that we've talked about, and that'll make this process just one step easier for you guys.
So thanks for listening. If you want to see more of us, you can find us on our websites at meganharn.com, amberbowles.com, or reach out to us on Instagram at meganharnrealestate and Amber L. Bowles Realty. So to end this episode, we're going to play a little game, and normally the game is 2 truths and a lie, but I can't think of any enough truths about myself, so I came up with a bunch of lies. 3 lies and a truth, so Amber's gonna have to find out which one is the truth and which ones are the lies.
Okay.
All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So, I've been to 2 countries, my house burned down, I love sweet pickles, and I've been skateboarding.
Okay, I do not think you love sweet pickles because you like salty things.
Okay.
I do not think your house is burned down because I think I would have heard about that
Okay.
sometime. You've been to 2 countries.
Have I not?
And you've been skateboarding. Everybody's been skateboarding, or at least tried it in their
Okay.
yard.
They're all lies except for one of them.
All lies except for one of them. Okay, in my head I can see you going skateboarding, but I feel like that is not true. Your house has not burned down. I know that's a lie. I think the truth is that you've been to 2 countries. Dang it!
I have actually never been outside of the United States.
Really?
Yes.
Not even to Canada?
No, and
you
Canada.
don't live that far from Canada.
I wanted to go to Canada this summer, but it's closed because of COVID. So as soon as it opens up, I'm gonna take my cousins up there, and we're gonna have a girls' trip up to Canada. I do not love sweet pickles.
I knew you didn't love sweet pickles.
I do not love sweet pickles. I love, love, love dill pickles. I will eat the entire jar. No problem. My mom loves sweet pickles, and she'll go as far as to drink the pickle juice. I don't go that far.
That is
disgusting. But I do love sweet pickles. I've never actually been skateboarding.
Like,
it scares me.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go wakeboarding and snowboarding and skiing and all that, but I've never been skateboarding, and I don't plan on it.
So you will jump out of an airplane, but you will not go skateboarding.
I feel like skydiving is safer than skateboarding, honestly. I'll go skydiving again, but not skateboarding. So my house actually did burn down.
Really?
But not in the way you'd think. So when I grew up, my parents bought this really tiny house on a big piece of land, and when they started having kids, it just got way too small for them. I think it was like less than 1,000 square feet maybe, and I have 2 brothers, and so we were growing up as a family of 5, and it was just way too small for us. And my dad is a firefighter, and so he had the fire department come out and purposefully burn our house down so that they could practice going into a house that was burning and have training. And so once it was burned down, then we could build our new house.
Build a new house on
in that same spot. Yeah.
You had not told me that. I just assumed if your house had burned down, it would have been a tragic story. I would have heard about it.
Nope. It was actually purposefully. I don't know who lit it, but I was really young, and I just remember sitting in the back of a truck eating a banana, watching my house burn down.
Like totally chill. Like, yep.
Totally chill. This just a typical Tuesday.
When they want a new house, they just burn it down.
Just burn it down, build a new one. So that's something you didn't know about me.
I did not know that. Who knew?
If you want to learn more about us, reach out to us on Instagram at Megan Harn Real Estate, at Amber L. Bulls Realty, or check us out on our websites, meganharn.com, amberbulls.com, or amberbulls.com.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
So a lot of times in a transaction, there's...
Wait, sorry, I think I talked over you.
Okay. Ready? Uncut.
Action.
Little... Okay, a lot of times in a transaction...
Wait, I snorted up. Okay. I'm going to be quiet for 5 seconds, and then you can go.
Okay. You did it. You were quiet for 5 seconds. Can you be quiet for me to complete a sentence? Okay.